Welcome to the program In Focus. My name is Monica Chanda, but you can call me Mo Chanda. And today our focus is on two vibrant personalities, one mostly behind the scenes and the other very much behind the mic. This afternoon, help me welcome Mukundu and Poptain, who are coming on board on In Focus. Gentlemen, welcome to Classic 260 Radio. Welcome to In Focus.
Blessed love. Thank you for having us, I appreciate it.
But Poptain, let's just get a perspective from your side. How would you describe the music industry in Zimbabwe right now, from Poptain's perspective?
From Poptain's perspective, really and truly, not trying to be negative or what, I think it's becoming, a higgledy-piggledy disorder, no basis of what's the vision, what's the goal. And I think it's just disunited enough for people to call themselves musicians, because what unites people is music. So I don't think there's something we can be proud of to say as Zimbabwe music industry, but we can say there is something that we can work on. But there's a lot of work to do, That's how I see it. And I can also say, talking positive, I believe it's that time where it's now free to even experience, or I can say practice your art in a way that people will appreciate, because before it was hard. It was just doing certain type of music for you to get heard. But these times you can do or you can sing however you feel, So it's 50-50,
And since we are appreciating the arts industry and also taking a look at the different genres of music in Zimbabwe, for most of the part, many people, the public, associate you with dancehall music. But it is understood you do not want to be bracketed to just say dancehall. Why is that the case? How would we describe you, the kind of music that you dish out to the public?
Without saying bad or talking bad about dancehall, I appreciate that the first thing I could do when I started music was dancehall, because it was the cheap genre I could get to. In the studio you get to, it's dancehall you can get for you to produce for like a certain amount of charge, you get me? So going to who Poptain is, I can say Poptain is a musician. You get me? I'm a vocalist, I'm a music person, and I don't want to identify myself with any genre, you get me? Because I feel musical in any time. It's like in a movie, when they get to a point where they want a rumba song, they can get a Poptain song. Where they want a hip-hop song, they can get a Poptain song. Where they want a dance or sungura, any type of thing. If there is instruments playing, there is Poptain. So that's how I am, and that's how I believe most of Zimbabweans are, because our music is live music, right? When you go out, people ask you, how do you produce your music? Because our legends, them Mukundu and them, used to do live music. So I can say dancehall is what we can manage to do, but if there was resources, I really believe, really and truly, there would be great musicians in the country.
Couldn't have put it any better for me. But turning to Mukundu, you've been in the industry for like 34 years now, and not only are you one of Zimbabwe's biggest music producers, you're a multi-instrumentalist, and we see you have your guitar in studio right now. I mean, for those who are joining us on our Facebook page, we are live streaming, and you're also a composer. So you have seen it all over the decades. I mean, 34 years is no child's game. From your side of working with different musicians from different genres of music and different generations, if I can put it that way, how would you say music has evolved? What's the landscape right now, 2022, and looking back, you working in the industry?
There are many positives, there are many negatives as well. The positives are that when we started, there was only one studio in Zimbabwe. So you had to struggle to when you that record company, and you had to do my auditions, live auditions. One mistake, you are chased away. But it's so I'm going to audition so in front of one. My antichrist so wachichikisa so kwangu potsa vanhu out mama good. But right now, if you look at the landscape, we've got almost a studio in every street in Zimbabwe right now. So it's one big positive on the side of reggae music. But on the other side, we used to have record labels. Because if you look at the music industry worldwide, Fire Music, they've got record labels. Because when you look at music, music is not just about the talent, it's also about the business side. So record labels are very good at marketing or pushing the business side. They record you even for free. It's not for free 100%, it's sort of like a loan. So you don't pay anything for recording, you don't pay anything for the videos, and then they do all the marketing worldwide. So if you look at the time we used to have record labels, we had a lot of international artists in Zimbabwe, the likes of Thomas Mapfumo, Joniso Maraire, Stella Chiweshe, Andy Brown, with a lot of my Wanabundu boys, my international artists, because we had record labels. Because right now, from year 2000 up to now, the only international artist we've managed to produce right now is only Mokomba.
But then does that not speak volumes that you are saying the only artist or the only band we can actually speak of is
the only international.
The only international. But then does that not even speak volumes to say we should be doing better if we're only speaking one?
That's why I'm saying I'm balancing the negatives and the positives of the previous generations and of the current generation. So I'm saying the previous generation, it was very hard for you to be able to record. But the advantage was that we had record labels. So they knew how to handle the business side. And look at us, even some of our biggest artists, without mentioning names, most of our biggest names in the country, when we used to have record labels, write my hits. Because why do some music they will tell you that no, it's not up to par, you have to go back and work. Well, that's all the biggest names that we used to have right on my hits. But then to meet up for Christmas, right now we're going to see because I was another push. So that's one big advantage in airport during the analog era. So during this digital era, everybody has got a studio, there's a studio in every street, we've got so many producers, but we no longer have record labels, so the business side is dead. So, and also besides the death of the business side, the economy is bad. From some bad economy, but for the COVID food. So if I could also balance out which side was better, it's difficult. Because right now, if you look at worldwide, Fire Music, they sound like record labels. That's one even disadvantage with our collab, like the Nigerians, because Nigerians are only my record labels. So we need a collab now.
Fully funded.
Yeah, fully funded. And my networks are really strong worldwide in marketing and everything. You know, marriage because you need money to push in the music.
Okay.
Talent is not enough. So I need a collab now. Yako music no push up WhatsApp no Zimbabwe. Zatopera. Iye maji yake no push worldwide. And the collab ya white and I push. And you want one but rough to that's being submissive. It's a subordinate act to I don't know collab kuma anzama whiskey whether na collab wombadara mari swinu muri yako tumbukwara nenzara and song yako people think that collab na unovaita zikana ko autombuzikana ko because record label yake is not pushing music yako. So answering your question, Sandara Sika, there are negatives and positive on both sides of the spectrum because I'm lucky enough with I worked on both sides. So
you have an appreciation.
Yeah, but information of both sides with the Chanda.
Now, you spoke about my collaborations, which we will be touching on, and Poptain, you've had quite a number of my collaborations with my artists. But before we get there, the business of the industry, because this is one of the matters that I want to touch on, the business of music, because we speak music, we speak talent, we speak passion, but do musicians like yourself and others understand the business of the music industry? Do they understand that it cannot just be talent alone, but you need to understand the business of it?
Yeah, man, I would add on and say, really and truly, without business, there's no food. What are you singing for them? Get me? So you have to handle the business side, but most of us, we are really very, very unprofessional. I can say most of the artists, I can say me also, sometimes we lose it. What the music requires is like what bread requires when a bread company is baking. When they're selling the bread, it's how the song should be sold. You get me? But as really and truly, I would also want to brag and say this music thing is spiritual, and it doesn't have to take us waiting for another record label to come in. So me as Poptain and my team, we have our record label now. We're going to handle the business. If we fail, at least we tried. But the record label is there. That's one solution we come up with. Now we need to work as one and produce the music and sell it the right way. How did the white man sell it when they were here, when they were selling the music? Give us the books. If you used to get the music in a certain type of way that sold the people that made hits, help us with that, and we can make the music as it was being made, and we sell it the right way. And who doesn't want, who have to get left behind, and who wants joining the new generation? Because sometimes God blesses us where there's disadvantage or where there's mishaps, there's an opportunity. You get me? So let's sell before someone comes to sell our music, or else we will keep waiting for people to come in, but Jesus will come before we make money.
Still, even on the issue of making money and understanding the business of the industry, you spoke about something that is very crucial, professionalism, and you acknowledged, Kuti, yourself, there are times when you actually stray. And even with that professionalism, let's touch on that professionalism. Is it on the part of artists not understanding that they need to have proper management? Is it on the part of artists going astray and having scandals per side? Is it the promoters themselves? What sort of professionalism are we talking about here? Where are we lacking in terms of professionalism?
We're lacking all of us, you know, one way or other. When the artist tries to be professional, to the people that handle the industry, you are being big-headed. You get me? Before, or really and truly before you try to be a professional, you have to know who you're being professional to, which becomes unfair. Who has the money tries to get close to the artist, have a relationship with the artist, and the management is not part of the conversation. It's already flawed. So that is what is happening in the music industry in Zim. It's really killing. It strains the artist even, because you have to be loyal to a lot of humans before you are loyal to what the paper says. You get me? So you can sign a paper with the manager, but next thing your friend is coming to get a song from you directly via Bluetooth. You get me? So that is one of the things that I can say is killing our thing, you know, because as artists, as we try to be professional, I can say friends come in. And when the man them who likes people who are professional are there, still there comes in a journalist who wants to get paid for an article by the artist. You get me? Still comes in radio that needs this by the artist. They need to contact the artist direct. Everything should be just restarted to make everybody follow the right channel. You get me? The whole of us are just doing this in like a talk shop. But we're making music, and music is making some people make money. Now there's digital platforms. People are making millions out of the music by distribution. But what are we doing? We only have YouTube channels and our Facebook accounts to promote. But we don't get nothing. It's feeding some people because of unprofessionalism.
Professionalism, Clive, let's talk about that still. Does it exist in Zimbabwe, the music industry especially? I mean, can we say there's a mafia at play? If we're looking at the industry itself, is there underhandedness? The promoters, is it a no-go area? I mean, when we're talking about the industry and professionalism, I know it may seem like we're stepping on toes, but this is in focus. We focus even on the bad and the ugly. So, what's your take? Professionalism?
Yeah, when it comes to promoters, a promoter is a business person. He's not a sponsor, he's not a manager. He's not there to uplift an artist, he's just there to make money. He's there to exploit you. Or that's the duty of a promoter. So it's up to the artist to push Starake so that we don't look at my promoters. I always fight even my female artists. I always my promoters, Mama shows Panibasama female artists push your name because kind of start humble spark out just because of because Beyonce kind of shades just because they want to fulfill my gender quota laws with the gender balance. I'm shades because I'm on the crowd. So I'm going to go back to my promoters, my promoters, they are business people. They are there to make money out of you. So you have to make yourself marketable for you to work with them. Saka kuside professionalism atinyanyo wapinzi reducing for. Then kuma artists kweli ndo kwa tunaanza ita problem ya professionalism because I think most artists don't know when to stop performing. One cannot per stage, you know, when it benzi, wait say but once you get off stage, performance ya pera. Be normal. One kutunzwa kapenga unofana kupenga. It's not unofana kupenga per stage, but once you get off stage, be normal, be a family man. That's why it is on the mamisins marombe. That's why my parents are the drums up in a music because of such behavior. So on. So professionalism beside the musicians, yeah, especially the younger generation. No, answer to your Poptain.
I want like I said, very unprofessional. But it's kusazi wa unopina mu industry to flow kuda. Utenga ngo follow channel we ro flow lateness. Maziwa as now to we can say we are 5 years old because tatangit. You know, so professional. I
like that. Well, we will be coming back. We will be coming back with Poptain. He is a musician, and for most, you may not know that he was born Amin Abdul Jalil Matanga.
Yeah.
I don't think many people knew that.
Yeah, not all of them. Only a few. Yeah.
Only a few. Yeah. But maybe towards the end, we'll touch on that. But in the meantime, this is the program In Focus. We're focusing on the arts industry, celebrating the arts industry, but we're also looking at the story of the arts industry, especially the music industry, the different genres of music. We're looking at how the landscape is, and we have two professionals, if I can put it that way, two personalities, big in their own right, who are joining us on In Focus, and we're trying to understand from their perspective how the landscape is, and also understanding what should be done, what can be done, what has been done, because we can appreciate it's not always doom and gloom.
Yeah. So to say thank you for calling my name right, you know, because most of the people they call me like Poptain. So because of that, I know everybody know this song, and we have a lot of things in common.
And Mutengi, I do understand Kuti Wainbot. He, used to associate music Yagwans and Mutengi. Why the case? Why Mutengi? Why did it start that way?
So honestly, Shakatika studio, it was now the other artist that suggested Wedoro, but to me that was a very conscious song. You get me? Kuti kanwajifamba mu life, father whoever arikuita kuti uwane cha urukuwana, you get me? Father mtengi we ruler, father mtengi we pen, father mtengi we buku. You get me? That was the concept. You get me? But we had to make fun. Then it was Idoro, but people must know kuti we were letting each other know kuti if it's your parents, if they pay school fees, listen to what them say. There's levels to this, you know.
Okay.
Wapinda neshangu kunokora toka mwanangu aingiti mwanangu kana wapinda wapeka tijanga vanokuverenga mbapu mwanangu kokai nasitiri kupemberera totali kokai mundu akubarura gitare men like the old standy like the deal get my meal so with me till no eat never judge them but them still a judge you can't go back and when you go show people's shoes no you don't
I'm loving this. Beautiful stuff there, and this is what we are celebrating. We're celebrating the arts, we're celebrating music, and we're celebrating the different genres of music on Classic 263 Radio. We are, after all, talk radio, but we take you through talk radio with a
I want my goodies, kebo, balance the besa, kebo, vamos a tura, kebo, titena, kebo, tibu yokosa, tibu yokosa, usatambele tibu yokosa, tibu ombe, isingawa nikwe kwa devo, tibu ombe, isingandize malevo, tibu ombe, isingashandizwe na devo, Mono, classic, yo, timu yokosa, akaroba muna matowe gore, achimisana na devo. akalangira nguva yaakatarisana nelevo. Mama le, upeni wangu wane mama le, upeni wangu wane mama le. Imeri!
Ah, beautiful! Team Hombe.
Blessings. Amen.
Bless. Oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. So this is what I'm talking about. Mono, you had never heard this. This is actually Poptain's latest. This is your latest, from your latest album. This is upcoming album.
Yeah, an EP.
It's my first time to hear the song. I really feel that.
And first time on Classic 263 Radio.
Blessings. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's a very good song.
First time
Very
to
gentle.
listen.
But why Team Hombe?
So I've been through a lot, I can say, for the period I got onto the spotlight, the limelight. There's been a lot of pressure, you get me. So we get into depression and all, and I believe the period I was in, God saved me, you know. So Team Hombe, whoever aligns with what godly, is Team Hombe, you get me. Whatever that good comes out of your life, just know Guti, it's godly and we Team Hombe. So if you say God, but God, only God, Team Hombe.
Team Hombe.
Yeah.
You also spoke about a part or a phase in your life where you were going through some of the most difficult. And this is something that the public sometimes doesn't really understand. The issue that musicians, artists are human just like the rest of us. You go through some of the most difficult challenges and you became vulnerable. You shared some of your story, what you were going through. So how important would you say it is for artists sometimes to be vulnerable and for the public not to judge them because of the experiences and what they are going through? Does it make them even stronger when the public gets to appreciate Kuti? You're also human.
Well, I can say I also blame it on the media, you know, to say people are really misusing it. Because when you see like you have followers, you think they are your people. And when they talk bad about you and they follow you, you feel betrayed, you get me? So sometimes it goes down to the social media bullying. And also it goes back to the unprofessionalism we talked about. Artists really need people to talk to. Because me as a person who came from the ghetto, I was also like that. You need someone to talk to, you get me? That helps a lot. And artists really are people who always think on how to please their people, their fans, you get me? So if you are always about that, sometimes it eats your creativity when you feel like this is my best creation, people don't like it.
True.
So it's not easy to take in, you get me? So those are the phases I can say I went through or I go through because it's still there. Social media bullying is still there, you get me? So my EP is also telling on that to say at this time, if you're not my fan, you're not God. That's the mode.
Just like that. If you're not my fan, you're not God. Clive, Mono, you're also not new to being vulnerable and expressing your life story. You're also an author. apart from being a music producer, you're also an author, and you also shared some of your life challenges. It was difficult. I remember there was a time when you were interviewed and you said it was difficult for you to just open up like that and to share with the world because you're not so sure how the world would receive you, and especially the Zimbabwean public.
Yeah.
Given that more and more issues around mental health are being exposed, more about drug and substance abuse, people are talking about it. How do you feel this will also help artists, help musicians to also tackle some of those abuses, tackle some of those challenges that they're faced with by opening up, and even the media exposing some of these things or talking about it, and even the public also talking about it?
I like what Poptain said with artists are human, and you also have feelings, because the general public usually they just if you're a musician, they don't take you like human, or I don't know, tuka madiro tuka imusika meno tongezi. As conversation my feelings you've got a sister, you've got a mother, you've got a child, maybe I don't know what tuka is. Saka at times those movements through also together with my hardships and those movements that my artist does a piece of my drugs and so forth. But one thing that I really need to mention, Panyedze, my drugs and mental health, and in Zimbabwe, we've got a problem. We are very spiritual and we spiritualize everything. So usually when I get a psychiatric problem, whether from drugs or from depression, people are quick to say, how do you work, or it's a spiritual attack. When it's something, you need a psychiatrist. So right now I'm saying this because I've got 2 artists who fell into depression or had mental health challenges, and one of them he tried to commit suicide about 3 times. Instead I ended up psychiatrist on material, and it didn't work. The 4th time he committed suicide, he passed away. It happened 2 artists under Chanda now. So I think in Zimbabwe we need to move away from that mindset. Spiritual attacks. I know the big number of us are Christians, but Christian at times to visit mama levels are still opposing. What people don't understand is Mwarari Mama Piritsi Momo food. Because Mama Chichi Zamba some Mama Piritsi. Because even right now I also live with somebody who is very close to me. And a mental health problem for 22 years, and it's not easy. One time I was in actually the mama periods and the takapinda tight. I had 3 days to 3 days which means so from now on the only person I will get the periods is a psychiatrist, doctor, I can train medical school, not Bible school. Bible school is a Bible, and not a medicine. So I think the one element I don't think about is Zimbabweans. Let's stop and go spiritualize everything. Political issue, go to specialists. Don't go to spiritualists. Don't go to Nangas. Don't go to prophets. Go to my psychiatrist.
Our time is fast running out, but I want to bring back Poptain to the issue of collaborations. How would you say they are effective? You've had a number of collaborations to your name. Would you say this is effective tool, especially for Zimbabwean musicians, to get their music out there and even on other platforms, whether we're talking about on a Spotify, whether we're talking about on a YouTube or other streaming platforms and so forth?
Yeah. Talking my side, I would say why I love collaboration, because it's a light candle light situation. You get me? You have your candle, I have my candle. Let's kindle the situation. 2, I believe what I sing is not easy on the ears for most of the common people. So I would need a filter, which is the next person who really has been or can have a different experience to what we are trying to say, so that we relate to the people then. So collaboration makes me comfortable to get to the people easily, because there's some revisiting that happens to the songs, this word, the lingua, what, and also brand affiliation, it expands the territory, you have your fans, I have my fans, let's bring them together, let's make magic. It's a bomber drop. That's what I want. Let's make magic.
We are going to have another conversation and get deeper into more of these, but let's get to a lighter note. Poptain, I know you have been in the papers for I don't know if I can say for the wrong reason sometimes, but you've also been associated with another female musician, which we won't talk about. But is Poptain married?
Yeah, man, I'm a married man, and I would like to say to my fans, I don't know if I did it wrong to never come out and talk about that issue, to say I'm not involved in any of that. And as a person, remember, I have a record label. I mostly empower the ladies, them, write songs for them, mentor them, so it will be unfair for me to date them. So me never have been in that kind of relationship, and I will never be in any relationship with a musician or any artist, because I have my artist who cooks for me nice.
Beautiful.
She washes for me nice. That's the kind of artist I have at home. And with due respect, I have a wife, I don't have a girlfriend.
I love that. That is beautiful. I'd like to say thank you very much to Poptain as well as Clive Mukundu for coming to In Focus this afternoon and for gracing us. But I want you guys to give me an impromptu something impromptu. Come up with something impromptu as we close the show on In Focus this afternoon.
The truth is I love you, but I cannot promise to tell you things you never heard before. Of course, yes, I love you, and I promise I'm not like whoever you were with before. You were with before. You were with before. I can never be like whoever you were with before. Never heard before. Never heard before. I can never tell you things you never heard before.
This is the first time both of you have been on a platform together, hasn't it?
Even meeting.
Even meeting.
We've never met before.
So it was like chemistry, having both of you come, and I just simply asked you, give us something on the go. And it came naturally.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes of your talent and your understanding and appreciation of the keys and so forth. But before we finally do say goodbye, I also want to turn your attention to something that I thought would be interesting to also raise, the issue of even the music industry. We touched on professionalism, we touched on the business of the arts industry, but I also wanted to understand what happens, what takes place in the Zimbabwe music industry in terms of when we see certain live, an artist just pops up and just goes on a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, and then there's a sort of rant, or they're oversharing, for lack of a better word, they're oversharing their life. And in other instances, we also get to see in other regions outside Zimbabwe, even here in Zimbabwe, where we hear of certain leaks, pictures or certain content that may be no under 25.
Never linked, it's released.
And that's the thing.
It's never linked, it's released.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Are artists deliberately releasing some of this content to get that influence, to get their music, to get their art pushed? Now I'm asking you to be honest, Poptain.
Who's starting with Poptain? Okay.
I'm an artist who believes such kind of things is never no shika, but the song has a way to, like I say, a journey it goes, so there's certain type of things you have to choose when you're an artist. Do you want to be an artist or you want to be a musician? That's one thing. Do you want to be a superstar or you want to be a musician? That's the thing. Do you want to be moon, web up social media, or you want to be a musician? You get me? But the musician comes with all those packages, the precautions, what's to do, what not to do, boundaries and everything, and it takes you and your strong heart to want it. If you want it badly, you choose a way. You get me?
Is it also that hunger for fame?
I believe so. Sometimes it's the pressure, you get me, and you think, what can get me there, See me?
Mono, I know sometimes you're also very blunt. You cut it,
Yeah.
as it is.
Yeah, that's why people say at times with Danzi, I want to be humble more, but no, he's not humble. But it's not good and humble, but exactly says that we want. What happens is in Zimbabwe is very different from places like USA in the Western world. In Zimbabwe, zvakaita sana nudity, sex tape and so forth. It can make you trend. Because in Zimbabwe, at times what trends and what sells is totally different. I know quite a number of artists whose careers went down soon after releasing such material. My careers they went down to zero. And the one after I mentioned like this, those videos and pictures, they are not leaked, they are released. Because once you take a picture or you take a video, it's taken good years to watch it. So can I kuonekwa ikonokumbuka bhozi ndizvo ngoita kuti vanhu vaite se vaone, but I think I wouldn't be comfortable kuti netwana topane ndizotweze tutoziva kuti nhengo dzemiri wangu dzakamira sei namai pane ndizona mbuya wamwe pane ndizo munhu wese unonga wangofamba wakashama wanu because I know a number of artists in Zimbabwe vakaita maningirino and they thought kuti mastar vachasimuka vozoita mashows mahombe zvinhu zvozoputika zvozoita sei and it didn't go that way. One watch I remember akaita Popular still release some naked pictures takaenda kushow yake ndina Derry Mpofu more less than 10 people one but social media zvekufaya zviya because you know
saka social media inofurira. That's
this
what you say.
what trends and what sells it's not the same. At times what trends is not what sells. I can give you an example kana vanhu vembira vaya unoona pafacebook kana pasocial media payoutube anenge aine 400 views but enda kushow kwake unozara kwakunenge kwakaita saka in Zimbabwe vanhu vanoda kufuririka most people know kuti people like Kim Kardashian kustates akaita popular nenudi akaita naRay J then ndanani mufuti akaita popular
Amber Rose.
akaita popular through futi masex tape uko it sells but muno Zimbabwe it doesn't sell. You just trained but what trends and what sells zvakasiyana in Zimbabwe.
But in closing, if we are to get our industry to the levels that we would feel would be more competitive, would really be a paying gig, what would you say you'd recommend to the industry players? What would you say to the associations, to the powers that be who also run the affairs of the arts industry, the ministry as well, Poptain? What would you say?
I always believe in Chakatang and the Chaka changes. If we say we shun all those things, the negativity, those wrong things we believe they are the wrong, that things that are done for the all wrong reasons, and it takes one person to 10 to 100 to not shake 1,000 to not shake 1,000,000 people who are doing the thing that we have agreed to do, and who doesn't want, like I said, they're not God, because nowadays people who have the things, they have entitlement, they feel like they put the artists on the spotlight, they do this for the artist, they are the ones that did this for the artist this, artist that. If you love the artists are seeking for help and they want people who want to do things the right way, then it's us, and how many of us can we be? That's all I can say.
And on that note, I just want to appreciate you both for coming to the station and to coming to In Focus right here on Drive Time Classic.